did I just watch? Beau is afraid? No, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that this movie is going to be very divisive. Divisive? Does it look like I'm a part of the poster? Beau is Afraid is Ari Aster's third feature film, his junior album, if you will, and coming off of two films like Hereditary and Midsommar, two horror films that a lot of people hold highly, and two horror films from A24. So going into this film, there was a lot of excitement. Ari Aster and A24 can do no wrong in a lot of people's minds. And on top of that, we have Joaquin Phoenix in the lead. Sign me up. What we have here is really a mixed bag. Look, I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Hereditary and Midsommar. Those movies just leave me not feeling great, but I can definitely appreciate them from a creative perspective, as well as the performances. So I was pleasantly surprised to figure out that this isn't just that haunting imagery of horror that Ari Aster is known for. It's much more of a dark comedy, but like the peak levels of dark comedy. I think Ari Aster read The Odyssey and was like, let me make that a surrealist black comedy horror movie. And that's essentially Beau is Afraid. And while it does showcase a lot of Ari Aster's strengths, it also exposes a lot of his weaknesses. The first of which being this movie's 3 hours long, and it definitely did not need to be 3 hours. It felt like they really just tried to stretch out a 2-hour screenplay just for the fuck of it. And with that, I felt the pacing was painstakingly tedious. Although I will say I do appreciate Ari Aster's swinging for the fences here. He's taking creative risks, and the originality here is extremely commendable. Impeccable direction, great cinematography, and there's even 2D animation in this movie that's pretty breathtaking to look at. And one of the biggest highlights obviously being Joaquin Phoenix, another stellar performance. He brings like this earnest, traumatized nature to Beau that I just truly appreciated, especially for the world that he lives in and the world that Ari built in this movie, which lends itself perfectly to this plot, which in a nutshell is a acid trip of a man trying to reconnect with his mother, going on an adventure in a very heightened, surreal world, I guess you could say. There's a lot of exaggeration in this world. And like I said earlier, the way Joaquin Phoenix plays off of this world with his paranoia is so good. It reminds me of the guy in the Benchwarmers who won't come out of the closet. When he finally does, he looks at the sun and he's like, ah! Only if Ari Aster directed it. There's actually some genuinely funny moments in this movie, albeit they're very dark comedy. It could keep you interested, but all in all, for me, it just wasn't for me. If you're a fan of Ari Aster's work, I think you'll find a way to appreciate this movie, and hell, even love it. But for me, it just wasn't my cup of tea. But I do admire the creative swings. I gave Beau is Afraid 3 stars on Letterboxd, and it's really a split decision on if you want to watch this in the movie theaters or not. Me personally, I would recommend waiting for streaming, but if you're a huge film fan, you gotta watch this. But let me know, are you gonna be checking out Beau is Afraid? And as always, like and follow for more.